You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Of the net.
Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
All right, about that. How are you doing? Good evening, everybody. Welcome along, fellow Fox fans. You know what I'm going to say. How the devil are you? I hope you are well. No football this weekend. And it makes me laugh because we always say, we've been complaining about how we've been playing and VAR and, decisions that were being made. And yet we miss it when it's not here, don't we? We do. Well, Leicester fans do. I don't know about Burnley fans. We'll find out later. It is Leicester Till I Die TV. You can catch us live on Twitter at Leicester TID, on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, and on the old YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. And if you're not watching on YouTube, please get over there ASAP and subscribe to the channel. It would help us out enormously. And if you want to listen to us rather than watch us, and who can blame you, podcasts, we are all over the place. Just search Leicester Till I Die, and we're on Amazon Music, Apple iTunes, Google, Anchor, Spotify, Podcast Addict, to name but 6, just because I can only get 6 on the graphic. And if you have a smart speaker, you know what to do. You just ask it to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die. I don't know why you have to say the podcast. It doesn't work if you don't. Maybe if you just say Leicester Till I Die, you'll get a funeral undertaker contact you. Who knows? But it's a bit of a different show. You can see at the top there, there's 2 of us up there. There's a good-looking one there, and then there's the northern guy there. It's the monthly review show, and we're going to be doing this at the end of every month and looking back at the previous month. Me and, basically, he's my brother from another mother. It's Dan from Turf Moorhouse TV. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you?
I'm pretty good, Chris. I say I'm pretty good. I'm soldiering on. True northern grit prevails.
Northern shit, did you say? Actually, talking of shit, guys, there is what I've done, because as you probably know, I did 2. I've had to rename them. We used to call them the shit shirt shows. I've had to call them the rather disappointing new kit show or something like that. But I put them both together. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Dan. And then at the end, I've kind of done a overall home and away, best up to worst. I'm not sure where Burnley are. Leicester are obviously up at the top end, of course. I
think we're about 13th. I think you put us about 13th overall.
Yeah, I must have been generous that day. Your kit's useless, it really is. And your shit is as well. But we are pleased to have you here because you're not so well. You're not so well. I mean, I can see, hopefully the tissues that you've got next to your computer are for blowing your nose on.
They definitely are.
You don't need man size from what Kate's told me.
I've used all the pocket size up.
In your pocket, yeah. You got one of those holes at the bottom of your pocket, haven't you?
Mate, honestly, I've got an array. It's like a bar behind here, literally. Honestly, I'm full of it all.
Dan is sponsored by Boots, but other chemists are available. And while you were in, did you get something for the weekend?
Oh, I did.
Yes.
Some aerosol. They were just running out, but they had one left. So don't worry, Chris. Don't worry, because I know you sent me your address, so I'll get it sent to you as soon as I can.
Cheers, mate, because I tried using aerosol once. It was a real pain in the arse.
We're
gonna get taken off air tonight. I'll tell you. But do tell me, you're gonna be my regular other half. You are my Susanna Reid to my Piers Morgan, if you like. My ball to my cannon. You've been called worse. I know that.
I definitely have.
But where can people find you? I know we've put it's in the description below, but just give all your channels a shout out.
So yeah, I don't think I've been doing much shouting, Chris, but I'll certainly give it a go. Obviously, it's at Turf Moorhouse. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, which is something that Chris keeps reminding me to get into. So it's always nice to have that constant reminder. But yeah, I'm going to be a regular on here. So if you don't like me, turn off.
Bye.
But sit tight, because Chris is a fantastic content creator. So do sit tight and have a watch. Hopefully, I speak some sense.
Yeah, I'll let you know about that. Hello to Ankit, Almighty Blues FC, Chelsea fan channel there. Get over there and check him out. He does cricket as well, but apart from that, he's a nice guy. But we are good. It's gonna be one of those nights, I can tell you. Do check out my rather disappointing new kit video though. Some good music on there. Right, so what we're going to do then, young Daniel, and I should have gone to Specsavers, is I say every month we're going to be looking at the past month. We're a bit late this month because I wasn't really up to it last week, and unlike yourself, I didn't battle through. I gave in to the man flu much more easier than you.
It's an age thing.
Ankit said it's always good to watch you two. Can I just say, I do tell Dan to shut the blinds. And he doesn't. He did say earlier to me, he said, let me know when you're in and I'll show my face. But that put me off. It was like, boom, straight. But Ankit.
Too many curtains to play around with and two up to down. I'm telling you now.
It's anything I can pull these days. Terry, we're not going to get much football done today. Right. Good evening, Terry. How are you? And how's the dog? And I don't mean the missus. And Mrs. Fuller is a lovely lady, I am sure. But you do have fun with your dog when you hear Brad's alarm going off. But right, we have our Coco already here for a nice bedtime story. Oh, you've come to the wrong place. So, like I say, we're looking back at September and just the main talking points of September, and these are kind of the ones that we sort of come up with, if you like. So there you go. Look at you gazing up at me lovingly. He's there.
And you're trying your best to keep your eyes off me, like, don't look at him. Don't give him time of day. Don't.
No, I know. No, think of England. I didn't realise how bad that looked until just now. But anyway, the topics we're going to be covering, as well as your and my love affair, is VAR, is it fit for purpose? I know we've touched on that before, but both Dan and myself have sort of, as our teams, Burnley and Leicester, have let's shall we say, had a few crosswords to say about VAR this last month. Club ownership in the English Premier League, Derby County administration, and as we laugh about Derby, we don't laugh because we've been there. Certainly Leicester. The September international break, is it just too soon? And was it worth even doing them anymore? And then we're also going to be looking at one or two of the games that have shocked us. And then anything that you want to talk about, stick it in the comments and we'll come back at the end. But first of all, Static, good evening. How the devil are you, sir? Hope you are well.
How are you, mate? Hope you're well.
I do like Static. You always know where to find him. He never moves because he's always static. Come on, I'm trying my best here. Talking of which, I have, and every time you're on, I'm going to play this. So I just want to say,
yeah, yeah, baby, yeah.
Oh,
Mrs. Riley is Dan's mother, and she keeps complaining that she doesn't get my paternity checks. You've disowned her, have you? You failed for adoption.
I have.
Oh, she's anyway, do give her my best, because I always did. Right, should we make a start? Shall we make
Let's
a
do
start?
It.
Yes,
Let's do it.
Before we got taken off. And I've just got to play you this.
Scrap it! Scrap VAR! Scrap it this weekend over the international break, because it's worthless, pointless, a total waste of time.
Agreed.
If Sir Jeff says it, then, and believe it or not, that is actually from a few seasons ago. Now, we've sort of, well, you've played us, and we're a victim of VAR, shall we say, for the third goal. You scored more against us than you did the whole rest of the season. We've had it with Brighton. We've also gained, if you like, because as you lost it in the game against us, we gained by it not being allowed. But I just find, for me, we are how many years into it now? And, with tennis, I was doing a jingle for John McEnroe, that you cannot be serious, and how bad that was. Now you don't hear tennis players hardly complaining about it, but here we are with football, and it does not get any better.
It doesn't. It's absolutely pathetic. I mean, we all have to go back to, as you say, that Leicester game. A winner choked out in the dying minutes. The week after, we're at home to Norwich. Vidra's clearly punched full on in the head by Tim Krul. Everybody on the Soccer Saturday panel said it's a penalty. I don't even know why it needs checking. And we still didn't even get that, which is why I said to you earlier about, refs being fast-tracked to the Premier League. I think it's a joke. It's just, it was meant to be there to cut out the wrongdoings in the game. If anything, predominantly for, fouls in the build-up to goals, diving. It wasn't meant to be used for checking goals. It doesn't even get used to check whether the throw-ins are correct. It doesn't get used to get checked if it's definitely a corner or if it is or if it isn't. It's it's used how they want to use it, and it's been taken a bit too far. And as you say, when you've got mates who have been in the refereeing game for quite a long time, you sort of you don't want to go against what your mate's saying. But sometimes you've got to be the bigger person. There's a reason why it's there. And it's not just that, but everybody can see it. You can say now that if you're a fan sat in that stadium, okay, they're not showing you the replays, but you can see the replay when you watch Match of the Day. You can see the replay when you go onto your club's website and they produce their content, because they'll show it. They won't shy away from it. And, you can make that judgment yourself. Was it a penalty? Is it not? Has it been chalked out? I only have to go back a few years when, I think it was Chris Wood got knocked down in the box against Bournemouth. Bournemouth cleared the ball, went up the other end and scored. They were celebrating because they sort of took it to level. And it got chalked off and we got a penalty. He brought it back. Fair enough. I suppose in a way you can't argue for it as well as against it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think human error was one of those things. You'd meet up with the opposition fans in the cricket club, as from a Burnley side of things. You'd meet the opposition fans in there, and you'd say, referee saved your arse tonight. Referees took a lot of blame. But people weren't sending death threats. People weren't going VAR this and VAR that. The referees they'd say the referees had a bit of a shocker. That's it. For me, the game against Norwich recently, Kevin Friend, I'm sorry, but you were an absolute joke. You were whistle happy. You made the game all about you.
with Kevin Friend. We like Mr. Friend.
Well, he was a friend. He's now a frenemy. Let's call him that. Let's call him that. It was a joke, though. I mean, the standard of refereeing, especially from someone like Kevin Friend, who's been around the game for a long time, you'd have expected better. But
yeah,
it's one of them. Maybe he's thought it's Burnley against Norwich. It's going to be scrappy. Let it go. But that's not the case. If you get full on pummeled in the head.
But last night I was watching, as you do, when neither you nor me, as we know from the Twitter messages, we're both up at like 4 a.m. because neither of us could sleep. And when you go on your computer, YouTube, folks, okay, you tend to find that you've gone down about 5 or 6 clicks and you watch something completely different to what you'd started out. And I've got the attention span of a goldfish, so I like the short videos. And I was watching the Chelsea Spurs game when Leicester won the title, and it ended up in like WWE at the end. And the guy that was the referee, and I can't remember who it was now, but he actually said he was not going to send anybody off, no matter how bad it got, because he wasn't going to have Spurs turn around and say, "You cost us the title." It had 9 cards on the day, which is more than any other game in the Premier League ever. But he said he wasn't going to send people off. So I suppose these kind of maybe in the back of people's minds sometimes the refs do think
that's the thing though. It's the last game of it's a dying last game of the season. This is a game that's not even a month and a half in.
Yeah.
And you're just letting the game go on. It got stopped. Sorry, it got stopped for review, and it still wasn't given. Which I think is, when pundits are saying it didn't even need to be reviewed, you could clearly see it was a full-on collision to the head. He's been punched in the head. If not the case, there were an incident earlier. In that game there were 2 or 3 incidents where it could have been a penalty. There were a push from Grant Hanley in the back for Vidra. Which could have been soft, but you do see them given. And there was also another one, I think, again, with Grant Hanley, which was, probably not so much. But on the flip side of this, Vidra never got carded. If he's simulating diving and you're going to wave it on and say, get up, and this has happened 3 times now. He's been punched in the head, he's tripped in the box, and then he's gone down again. It's okay going once, get up. I mean, VAR shows that it were a clear punch to the head. But afterwards, why has he not been booked for simulation? Why has he not been booked for simulation?
Yeah, I agree. But a lot of people with the refs say, it used to balance itself up over time.
Dash says that every week.
You can't say that about VAR because VAR is not supposed to be about balancing it up. VAR is about getting it right. And funny enough, that clip that you showed me earlier with the Jeff Stelling one, it was actually a Leicester-Arsenal game. Paul Mercer was covering it, and he couldn't believe with VAR that Leicester didn't get, I think it was a penalty, because it was an obvious one. And I go back to the Brighton game when we lost to Brighton, and we had VAR trouble about Harvey Barnes being stood in front of their goalkeeper, and there was twice he was stopped, and you had on Match of the Day that night ex-professionals. There was Ian Wright and there was Alan Shearer, both talking and say, well, you could see that the Leicester guy was fouled before. He was being pulled down. Therefore, that should have been given as a foul before, the goal was disallowed, etc., etc. So they could see it from an ex-player's point of view. So what I've said is that VAR itself is fit for purpose. What's not fit for purpose is the people that are running it. Now, years ago, refs were like butchers, plumbers, electricians. And then they made them professional. Still didn't get any better. I mean, I do a Tuesday show every Tuesday, believe it or not. It was always find handy to do the Tuesday show on a Tuesday. I say some stupid things sometimes. With an ex-Leicester professional, Julian Watts, and he comes on and he gives things from a professional side. Now, he's in finance, I believe now, and I said, like, there must be players from the lower leagues, like, the League One and League Two, that aren't going to get these fancy jobs in the media for Sky or BT or any of the newspapers, that would probably, that we're losing, but they know they've played the game. Why aren't they being offered the chance? And even Julian said, you know what, if I was offered it, I'd bite their hand off.
See, I'm with you. I'm with you, but I'm also against you, and I'm only against it because of what recently former player Jamie O'Hara came out with. And this knocking the league down to 18 teams, that these clubs don't deserve to be there because the fan base has said, "Oh, we're going to give it a go this season." How many? Sorry for swearing, but how many effing years did flaming Liverpool say it's our year, it's our year, it's our year? And you were talking bollocks. I'm sorry, you were talking absolute bullshit, and then. Shall we liquidate them? Shall we get rid of them because they were nothing? It took them long enough after keep goaling it. Just because that's the best thing about it. A team gets promoted, and you get to pit your wits against the big boys. I never thought I'd see Burnley do that in my lifetime. I never thought I'd see Burnley still 6 seasons consecutively now in the Premier League. I didn't realise we'd become a staple. I mean, at the moment, the staple's coming a bit loose, as you can see. But
you've always been a bit loose, Dan. No, I agree totally. And like I said, whoever you put there, it's still a human that is making those decisions. Yeah. So you're still going to get the odd thing wrong. What I'm thinking of is, at the moment, it's no better than 50-50 with some decisions that you get, some that you don't. Where if you've got an ex-player, and he looks at that, and he can see everything that these pundits can see at Sky and at BBC Match of the Day afterwards, because they're using the same cameras. So he can see everything. And you've also got 2 there as well. You've got a VAR ref and an assistant VAR. So you've got a referee, a 4th referee who just holds a board up with some pretty colours on a couple of times a game. You've got two assistant referees, a VAR and an assistant VAR. You got 6 so-called what do I say? Like officials. Yeah, match officials. They still could not. If there were matches, they couldn't strike a light between them. No. And I just think. And it is the interpretation. We're making it black and white. We're looking to say, is that a goal or was it a foul? And then you've got this. Well, it was an indifferent. I mean, you could say that when Leicester won the FA Cup, which we did, just to get that in there, Tielemans' goal, it came from Oise Perez actually not winning the ball, just getting his body in the way. And it bouncing off to Luke Thomas, who passed it to Tielemans to go on and score. Now, you could argue that it hit Perez's hand, but it was shot at him. So there wasn't an awful lot he could do. But it wasn't the case of, well, as the next player would say, he couldn't have got his hand out the way anyway. Look at that. It was in a different part of the, section of the game or something, whatever they say. And I just find it's bullshit, to be honest with you. Yeah, it is. It is. I'll tell you another thing that gets to me as well. But every single year, we keep trying to implement new rules, tweaking the rules. The old saying, it goes, don't fix something if it's not broken. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's the point? What is the point? And half of these referees are going, all right, so what's classed as an handball and what's not? It's not like they're being told during the off-season, you need to come into the FA, you need to sit down, you're going to be put through another test, the rules have been changed, we need to know that you've adapted. No, they're on their jollies, just like the other flaming footballers around the world. They're enjoying it. They're enjoying their off-season. But the question I would ask you from there is, why are we changing the rules? So
exactly, why?
It is now a game that, let's be honest with you, most Premier League players are pansies. You stick them in the rugby league match, and they'd run off crying to the mother.
They're out to fall out.
Yeah, you fart next to them and they fall over and do a pirouette. And so, but
Sorry, Cornet.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, Cornet.
Did I say that out loud? I wasn't referring to him at all. But no, I mean, why change the rules? Why not get a set of rules, stick at it? Because let's be honest with you, we've all had jobs where things change all the time. And my last couple of jobs were in the finance business. And of course, with it being financial, the rules change every couple of months. You couldn't keep up with it, So you got to feel sorry for them in a bit. And you said earlier that it should be used for things like dives and fouls. And I keep coming back to the one in the Euros, the Italian, that was down in the box, claiming the penalty, was in absolute pain. He probably wasn't going to walk again. And suddenly, because Italy scored, he was up and running after. Now, VAR should be looking at that and say, that's cheating.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to get a one-match ban for that. And I tell you,
it's same as the Cornet thing against Leicester.
Yeah. He
went off the pitch. No, I'm open to speaking about it. I think obviously, okay, Dash is right. He's learning the league, but he's not dumb. He's not dumb. He knows if you're injured, you go off the pitch. It's an old Testament rule. It's not something that's happened overnight. Yeah. He kicked the ball out, went off the pitch. He shouldn't have come on. That's time waste. It's time wasting. Yeah. It's cheating. It's sort of in a way match fixing because you're trying to fix it in your. That's the same with Darwin.
As I may have mentioned in the post-match show that I did call him a cheat, but if VAR, and let's be honest with you, they can write notes down as they're going along because there's two of the buggers there watching the game, sipping the tea and putting the feet up and we're in the nice walk. So that the assistant VAR could be making a note of that while the main VAR guy's watching the game. He could write that down, go back. Let's say ban Cornet for a game, and say, right, you were cheating or what have you, or you were simulating, etc. Dyche would then say, shit, we've just paid X million for him and we can't use him now. He would soon be having a go at Cornet. He'd soon be stopping him doing it again because the managers don't want to lose the best players. So why isn't it being used for that?
Exactly. Dash has been saying for years as well that he's the only one in manager terms that's always talking out about Darwin, and nothing seems to get done about it. So he said, you know what? What's the point? I can keep going on about it. Nothing's going to change. I mean, if that was Pep Guardiola, if that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if that was all these big teams that clubbed together and said Darwin needs to be cut out the game, cut it out now, that'd be sorted in a heartbeat. That'd be done tomorrow. Sorry, new rules would have been added. It'll have been, probably what, I don't know, introduce a sin bin for Christ's sake, if that's what you're going to do. Introduce that.
This to you. I found this before we did it, before we did the show. And it's what are the new VAR rules for the 21-22 Premier League season? And the controversy has only continued into the 21-22 season, despite the Premier League attempting to tackle this by changing their guidance for the new campaign. VAR will no longer award penalties for any contact from a defender to attacker. I'm not going to go in them in detail, but just do it. Another change to penalty and foul guidance, which will please defenders, is back in when strikers nudge or back into a jumping defender. It's not a penalty. Thicker lines are now being used when measuring offsides. This will give the benefit of the doubt to attacking players once more. Yeah, right. There'll be changes to how TV viewers see the decisions being made. I don't think there is.
Yeah, because they don't see them. They don't see them, that's the thing.
Yeah. Offsides will also now be measured from the bottom of the armpit. What? Handball rules have been tweaked. Assistant referees are now allowed to flag more often for blatant offsides rather than wait for the move to play out. What? Now, I mean, if you're sat there and you've been doing something for 2 or 3 years and you make a decision on what you thought it was and you think, oh, shit, that's changed now. but it's too late because it's going to happen. And you're like, the whole thing, VAR, I think I was a great advocate of VAR, but it just needs, it's like putting somebody who can't drive behind the wheel of a truck.
Yeah, which is what Morris is trying to do anyway. So, but no, again, it goes back to what you were saying. I only have to think back to what 2-3 seasons ago. Chris Wood scored a goal, and the referee put his flag up for offside.
Yeah,
but because he blew and the flag had gone up for offside, instead of waiting for the actual matter to happen, the goal wasn't allowed to stand, even though it was onside because it had already been flagged. If anything, you should be able to overrule that. That's why when Chris Wood scored a second, when he scored a second/first, he went over and he celebrated like this, like checking, going like he was doing this celebration like that. You know, it shouldn't be like that. There's nothing better than seeing the ball hit the back of the net. When that millisecond when the ball hits the back of the net and the stadium goes from up on the feet, you could hear a pin drop, and then your net just like ball it back a bit, and then uproar. Now you just stood there like a pensioner from Wigan, going very good, and then all of a sudden, you're literally waiting for this decision. You're looking at the screen, going, "Will it be given? Will it not?" Referee's gone to centre circle. Way now we can celebrate. It's too late by that point. I've already decided what beer I'm having, what pie I'm having at half time, and whether I need a piss or a shit. And I don't know whether I should hold it because it's going to be packed.
You have such a succinct way of.
This is the thing, though. There's too much time wasting in a game. All them incidents in that Norwich game at the 90th minute. There were 6 substitutes used in that second half. There was all the drama and everything else, and they only added 2 minutes extra time on at the end. Farce, in my opinion.
Good evening to Neil. How are you doing, sir? From beyond the 90, do you? We were comparing shirts earlier. Neil, I think yours is older than mine because yours was top styles. Or was that? I'm confused. I'm actually very sad because I have all my shirts in order of when they came out. And I've got a little tag on each one saying like 14-15 season home. 2021.
The top tiles days. That were the days when like Matty Fryatt were wearing it, weren't it?
Hey, Matty Fryatt, good old Matty. Neil says you've come in after it, Neil. But yeah, basically what we were saying. It's the stupid refs. Yeah, totally. We've just said put ex-players behind there. You're not going to eradicate these things totally, but you're going to make it better. But hey, we've given virtually half the program over to VAR, and we've still got a lot of things to squeeze in. And you know what that's like with your trousers, don't you? I tell you, Oh, that was a bad sighting. I had the pleasure, and I use the word pleasure very advisedly, of seeing Dan in Asda on his live chat. He was doing what we like to say, doing a nippon. For those of you that know,
we're dancing and all for some reason. I don't know why. It must have been the beer, Chris.
I think it was. You want to go into club ownership with the news that Newcastle have been sold, finally. One of the richest clubs in the country now. And Derby fans are now asking for Mike Ashley to go and buy them. But we'll come on to Derby next. But what did you want to talk about with club ownership?
I mean, it's a tough one, obviously. Fair enough. First of all, I want to say, obviously, congratulations to Newcastle. It's been years in the making. You've wanted this. The consortium that were interested in buying, they could have just jumped ship and go, look, we've got no luck here. We're a fish out of water. We're just going to end up dying out. And they didn't. They persisted. They stuck at it. Okay, there's everything that that comes with it. The Saudi Arabian human rights and things like that. How's that going to be implemented? It's all been discussed with the Premier League that this certain Saudis aren't actually going to be involved. They're sort of going to be like in the background. And this, I think what she called, is it Annette Stavely or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I think obviously she's come in. She's greeted some of the fans already. She said she wants to get them to win titles and cups in the next 5 or 10 years. it's what you want to hear. It's what you want to hear. You know, fair play to Newcastle. They've always been a big club in a sense, you know, because of what they've had in terms of history. But now it's time to write their own. You know, am I envious? Of course I am. Of course I am. I mean, we got an owner. We got a brand new owner recently. You know, we're at the moment. Okay, he's not got the finances that they've got.
No.
But who knows? Again, this takes me back to the comment with Jamie O'Hara when he said these nothing clubs that haven't won a game yet. He forementioned Norwich, Burnley, Southampton, Newcastle. All right. I bet you next week he's on going, oh, it's just Burnley, Southampton and stuff. Would he have said the same about Southampton if they kept hold of Danny Ings and Vestergaard and Bertrand and they're halfway up the table? Would he bollocks?
I have to agree with him about Burnley. I'm going to be honest.
Of course you would. Of course you would. No, I think obviously fair play to Newcastle. Obviously their fans will be celebrating in their thousands. They'll have probably been wishing it were a Friday night. But who cares? It's Newcastle. It's student area. Thirsty Thursdays is all the range around there. So there'll definitely be
It's kind of funny because I look at it and think, oh, that's another club that's going to be challenging us for fifth now. But overall, I'm pleased. I mean, the funny thing was, I kind of seem to remember that when Mike Ashley actually took over, that he was one of the fans. He was in the ground. Everybody was quite happy.
Yeah.
He hasn't given them that, and we've all, as clubs, had times when we've had bad owners. We've been through it, not as bad as Newcastle, but this is what makes me laugh about Arsenal fans. And I know I keep always coming back to Arsenal, but this sort of, oh, we're not in Europe and he's playing. I mean, it's been one season. Newcastle have had to put up with this and the difference between. And I understand, look, you know, why Man United want to get the Glazes out, because they took a club that was self-sufficient and he put them in, you know, more debt than they'd ever been in before. But at least with Man United, they were still spending money. At least, you know, they're still getting these players in. And you could argue that Ronaldo has got in to placate the fans. You know, that's another story.
Yeah, of course,
but
definitely.
they still won things under them. Mike Ashley. So I'm just loud. I'll bring this up in a second, Neil. Mike Ashley's just kind of ripped that club off, and that's the difference. You know, he was going to rename the stadium, wasn't he? The Sports Direct Stadium.
Yeah. I think he did for a season. To be honest, I think he did.
Did he actually go? No, and they had to change it back. I know they hated it. Our owners that we've got, and I know I go on about how good our owners are, but in a recent survey, we were the team with the most loved owners, and it's not surprising, really. I think we've got something like 96%, which 4% of our fans aren't happy with our owners. Is what I want to know.
That's ridiculous.
But I am pleased for them because they have gone through hell and back, and you know, and I don't think, and I don't class them any different to Bolton, any different to Bury, and Bury are no longer with us in the form they were before. It's just that obviously Newcastle are in the same league as us. It's bad to see, you know, if football clubs aren't run as proper businesses, and when you do get a club that's run as a proper business, it's successful, and it's difficult to get that sort of success without spending too much money. And you could argue that Norwich are trying to do that and stay up, you know. And
look at Everton. Look at Everton with the Mashiri guy. He's come in. He thought he could bring in Ancelotti. He thought he can bring in James Rodriguez. You know, make these signings and it's going to work. I mean, even prior to Ancelotti, he brought in Koeman, and Koeman splashed money on players that were shit. Davy Klaassen didn't do much in the Premier League. You know, he ends up moving on. You know, sometimes it's about risk, and you've got to take risk. I mean, Man City didn't get it right at first. You know, yes, they had Robinho, but they still had the likes of an aging Craig Bellamy. They still had people like Stephen Ireland that were like 32 in the middle of midfield. Nader Manua, a 20-year-old on the right who was, you know, up and coming. It was only the season before that they were getting beat 5-1 or 4-1 off Middlesbrough. You know what I mean? It was maybe a season or two before, but the thing I have is with that though, I feel for the fans. The fans, 100%. I'm with you. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic news. As a club, do I shit it when we come up against Newcastle now? Yeah. Yeah, because they're going to be seen as one of those that are sort of classed as in that the big seven now. Would you call it?
Well, no, because the thing with Newcastle is they have got the fan base.
Yeah, of course they have. Yeah,
Whether that's a fan base like United, Liverpool, Chelsea have got around the world is another matter. I think
I know what you're
it's
saying.
only
It's
just,
like a pizza base. A pizza has a base, but depending where you buy it from, it could taste shit.
yes, yeah. I don't know where you get your comparisons from sometimes.
I'm like Ian Holloway, mate.
Yeah, but so I don't know that they'll be then sort of be classed as the big seven, because that's Leicester. Yes, with what we've done, we're not worldwide huge, if you like. I think we can definitely say the next manager to be sacked and will now be Steve Bruce, without a matter of a doubt, because I'm no disrespect to Steve, but I can't see, even if he's been given the money to buy out players, I don't think he's the manager that's going to take them to that next level.
Yeah.
The thing with Newcastle is they've attracted Benitez in the past, so the company could attract a good manager, but it's going to take them a while. And I just hope that they don't do a Chelsea and just keep changing the managers, because what that club needs at the moment is a bit of stability. Yeah, and good luck to them. Neil from Beyond the 90, and get over there and give them a follow up Beyond the 90. Always like to share other Leicester channels on here. So great channel, Neil. Get over there. I mean, allegedly, I wish you'd typed after that, but at the end of the day, he saved the club. But because we were about to out of business for the second time, Neil, weren't we? But what worries me is all this, like, we do all this due and proper diligence and check the owners and all this, that, and the other, but still, we get some really bad deals being done. Man City at one point were owned by
Sheikh Mansour or Khaldoon Al Mubarak.
One of those, possibly. But it
I know what you mean. Taxing Shinawatra.
That's it. I was not going to say it because I have trouble with Bertrand, don't forget.
I'd just like to say, Rich, if Rich is in the comments, that's 4 answers for Man City I could have give there. Just saying.
I got a question for you at the end, by the way. You put me off now. Yeah, but then you have the Notts County guy who have got Sven down there and completely con. Berry's owners are just they bled the country. So all these we're not having this club in because of human rights. So they don't give a shit. It's all about money, because if they did the right checks, those people that we've just named would know. Game Market, Portsmouth, that Milan sold to. He started the downfall there, and I just don't think that when they do buy these clubs, that or they are checking the owners out, that they do really, really good checks. They could certainly improve it.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, that probably brings us nicely onto Derby. I mean, the thing is, I've got a bit of an argument for Derby and Mel Morris, because Mel Morris has pumped his own money in, and he's tried. And you can't say he hasn't put the finances there, because he has. I mean, Pride Park's a nice stadium. It's Premier League quality stadium, and I know it's hard to say. I've been on the Leicester channel. I get that, but the infrastructure is there. The infrastructure is there. The only problem is he has thrown money at it without having a reserve plan. He's not had a reserve plan and he's tried it for 3 seasons. He tried it with Lampard. He tried it with, he's now trying it with Rooney, and it's not paying off. Don't get me wrong. He's trying to get these big hitters in, and he's hoping that it'll inspire the players. Sometimes you need to go back to the drawing board. Bring somebody in like Ian Holloway or Mick McCarthy that's not been around the managerial scene for a while, because they know what take it back to basics. Same with Arsenal. They keep saying Arteta out. They win one game against Tottenham, and it's Arteta in. Make your mind up. It's one of those things. They need to go back to the days of George Graham.
You've got to be careful what you wish for, because I can remember Blackburn Rovers, and they had Sam Allardyce in charge. I've told this story quite a few times. They sold out Mr. Walker that owned him, the steel magnate. So, well, you know, Blackburn Rovers, obviously, just, you know, they're the big team just down the road from you. And they sold out to these chicken farmers, I believe. They moaned that Sam Allardyce, they didn't want him, he didn't like his style of football. They got rid of him, put his assistant Steve Keane in charge, and I think they ended up in the third tier at one point. So you do have to be careful what you were.
Can we keep talking about this?
Charlton Athletic again with Kirbishley. Oh, we're fed up. We're finishing 9th, 10th, 11th. I bet you take that now, wouldn't you? So, but the thing with
Sunderland as well. As well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What you can think with Derby for me is that they've been in the playoffs quite a lot. You know, as were Leicester in our day before we got up and stayed up. And actually, you've got to sometimes. I mean, we had Sven come in. He didn't get us up.
Yeah.
But we got Pearson back in, who let's be honest with you, nobody really knew him. He hadn't done anything. Wasn't a big name like Sven. Got us promoted. Somehow kept us up with the Great Escape the following season. You can't, you know, it would have been so easy for the Leicester owners after we lost to Watford in that playoff semi-final with the Deeney goal, to have said, right, get rid of him. And then there was a point in the next season, I think it was, when he nearly did. He was actually sacked because it was all. Or was he sacked then? He was reinstated. But Tottenham, who is now the chairman, wanted to keep him, and it. You know, it paid dividends. Burnley, you went down, you stuck with Sean Dyche, you came back up again. Derby have had so many managers that and we said this the other night, you know, you get a manager in, and it's Rooney now, so he'll be maybe getting some players in that he wants. Well, he can't at the moment, obviously, because of the administration. But, you know, as a club, you've got managers there. You play a certain style, doesn't work, they sack him. They bring another manager in who's got different plans, doesn't like the players that were in before, and it starts again, if you like, you know, and that is not successful. And I think if you're going to invest in a club, and I hope your owners do it, and the guy that's bought a Bournemouth down here, like with Leicester, it's a plan. Do you remember the guy that owned Middlesbrough?
Yes.
He kept them up for a couple of seasons, but then they went down. I think they got through to the two finals, lost one to us, and in the same season got relegated with Brian Robson as manager. But it was very good for a couple of seasons. Look at Leeds.
Yeah.
You know, they took the gamble. And it did ruin them.
Southampton did the same. They dropped down divisions, you know, and they've had to climb their way back up. I look at teams like West Brom as well. You know, they sacked Slaven Bilic after just getting a draw against Manchester City. Where's your logic in that? You know, I suppose that's why they call them boing boing baggies, because maybe he got a draw against City and they thought, shit, we might stay up. But the thing is, as I say, going back to Mel Morris, he's tried to do it tactically. I do not think the fans should be against Mel Morris. I don't think he's put a foot wrong in a sense. I think, if anything, yes, in a way, you know, I'd say the loan players, I think the wages of loan players probably killed them off. But sometimes you've got to take a risk. And I think that's what Morris has done. I look at Preston. You know, we were always, as a team, Burnley were always as a team, mid-table in the Championship for years and years. You know, Stan Turner made us a firm, solid mid-table Championship side, and we always felt like before Christmas we're flirting with playoffs. We'd end up finishing 13th, 14th, and that's just how it was. You know, Preston year in year out was in the playoffs, was just missing out on the playoffs, and you know they're in and out like yo-yo. They've never been up since probably millennium. They've constantly flirted with the playoffs. I mean, it's only in recent years they've been down in the towards the bottom end of the Championship. Yeah. But it just goes to show sometimes you've got to take a risk. And I think that's what Mel Morris has done. The person for me I like in charge of any club at the moment, and I'm going to bring him up, is probably Fleming Accrington Stanley's chairman. I think he's done absolutely brilliantly
Just because they beat us the other night.
No. I'm not going to even mention that. I wasn't going to mention that. It's just that
we had the kids. It was the EFL Cup, which nobody bothers about when you're in the Premier League. It was the under-20. I think we played the under-5s. Pep
Guardiola wants teams like that in that league.
Well, that's a topic I'm going to be discussing with Julian on Tuesday.
The thing is, though, I do like
a long-term plan. Yeah.
The thing is, he doesn't look in the market. He doesn't look in the market and go, right, we need this place to strengthen, we need that place to strengthen. He gets players that pretty much have had a bit of an hard time, non-league or whatever, and he gives them a chance. Colby Bishop, who plays up front, Dion Charles, that is up front for Accrington now, both two players that came from nothing. Colby Bishop was playing non-league football last season. He made the jump to League One, not last season, the season before. Makes the jump to League One. He's being touted for like a £1 million signing and stuff like that. Dion Charles has got into the Northern Irish international team. Okay, it's not hard, it's Northern Ireland.
Let's be honest with you. You could if you had a grandmother from Ireland. And I think you're right. You do have to take a gamble, but you can't. At some point, you can't.
You've got to have a backup plan.
You can't over gamble. You've got to have a backup plan.
Again, what Burnley had it, with Mark Garlick prior to Alan Pace. Dash kept saying, we need to stretch the budget. We need to stretch the budget. The chairman's too busy. Right, he's sat on the zip. He won't loosen it. He won't let me in. He won't even look at the Queen's face on the father. He's not going to let me look at out. And he was adamant that we weren't going to get to spend anything. It's all about, balancing the books and stuff. We all know Burnley's been like that over the years when we've had to sell our assets to stay where we were. Okay, back in the day, the RTV stuff. No, the RTV deal knackered us up, but we had to pay the dividends in the long term. We had to sell on our big hitters: Akin Bayi in form, Danny Ings in form, Charlie Austin in form.
Hang on. 3 words that do not go together. Akin Bayi in form. I'm sorry, they are just 3 words that nobody said ever.
maybe in blue, mate. Maybe in blue, but in claret and blue, he did absolute wonders.
Let me ask you this question, though, Dan. Let me ask you this question.
Go on.
Should fans of a club, as in, let's say I'm down here in Bournemouth. Let's say I was born in Bournemouth. I'm a Bournemouth lad, and I've come up with this superb idea. I get back in on Dragon's Den. I'm a I'm a billionaire.
For a minute, I thought you were going to stop then and say, I'm back down here. I'm in drag. That's what I thought you were going to say. And then you said Dragon's Den a lot. No.
But, and then I, as a fan, are fans the wrong people to buy their own clubs, if you like? Because it's hard for them to take off and make proper business decisions. The owners, let's go before all this foreign ownership in the Premier League, when you're owned by, like you say, the local butcher, Mike Garlick. He was a TV guy, wasn't he, in Burnley?
Bob Lord, butcher.
Can I just say, when I say TV guy, as in the electrical TVs, not that he used to walk around Burnley of a night in a pink floral dress at all. So you've got to be careful these days, haven't you? And the decisions they made in running of the clubs, they would not have made in the running of their business.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your first question, I think, fans having a percentage of the shares is great because you get a bit of a fan perspective. You sit down at a board meeting with these fans that own the shares, 2 or 3 sports people.
I'm on about the big,
Oh, some players like teams like Salford, not Salford, FC United of Manchester. They were bought out of all this Glazer stuff. By a fan consortium, and that's been run by fans. Fair enough. Sometimes it works out.
They haven't got the money to blow, have they?
No,
no. But if you've got a local entrepreneur that's worth millions,
But even that's not worked. Even that's not worked. Look at who's it? Glenn Tamplin, who went in at Flaming. I can't remember what team it were. It was someone at Dying Leeds, but he brought in like Jamie O'Hara at 37-year-old. He brought in all these old players.
There was a guy at Darlington, I think there was. he built a stadium that was twice the size of the number of fans he got on the best ever day. And he like you say, he went overboard because it was all gambled on him getting promoted, a bit like Leeds. And I think if you've got a fan, I think that it does makes your vision blurred, if you like. So you end up making decisions that you wouldn't as a businessman. But can I say with that, bless you, cough it up. Go on.
I'm trying. Sorry, I was halfway through a laugh and coughing because I looked to the side of it and Kate's falling asleep. Kate's falling asleep with her phone in her hand and it just went boof and she went.
You're a spitter, not a swallower, aren't you? But yeah, too much. But let me just say, because we've been there once, Leicester, we went out of business. We were saved by Emil Heskey and we were saved with Gary Lineker, that consortium, and all the best to Rooney because somebody's told me that he's actually paying some wages himself. So big up to the guy. As much as I would love to see Derby County in the 3rd tier or in the 4th tier even, I'd want that to be because they were crap rather than the fact that they're getting points deducted because they've got our business. Because I would never...
I said the same with the Venkies. You know, everyone's like, liquidate Blackburn. Go on, get rid of him. Why? Don't get rid of him. Don't get rid of him. Let him flaming, you know, what's the word? Flaming, you know, fester down in the bottom divisions. let him flaming falter away down there. And when we do draw Mid Cup, let's give him an added. But at least they're still there. You've still got that rivalry. You've still got that fact that let's laugh at little Blackburn down there. You know, and that's what you want. You don't want them to go out of business. I think that's end of the day. I hate Blackburn Rovers with passion. I can't go past the stand saying Ewood Park on the M65 without going like that as I drive past. You know, I can't. I really can't. It's an automatic reaction. It's like a man with Tourette's. You know, it's just one of them ticks. As soon as I go past, that's it. You know, and I start making sick noises every time I drive past Ewood Park. I don't drive past it on purpose. I don't make an habit of it. But, you know, I try to stay away as much as I can.
200 miles round, down underneath Manchester and round and up to Preston, so you don't have to go past Blackburn. But we'll move on, but we do wish Derby County all the best and hope that you can get through it. We've got a couple of topics left now, and we'll be right back after this. It's back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It's the big fat football quiz. Yeah. And we are slowly getting through the Premier League teams. We've got Brighton coming up next. So, yes, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And I know I shouldn't really talk about quizzes with you, Dan, because Charlie came in there. I don't know if Charlie's still here, but I was waiting for the right moment to, and I don't know whether I've still got his comment here. I'm
sure you have, Christopher. I'm sure you have.
I'm sure I have. Here we go. Charlie, big up, guys. Did you enjoy last night, Dan?
No, I slept dog shit, mate. Honestly, I feel really terrible.
I think he means in the quiz.
Oh, I can't remember doing out.
I'm going to be honest with you, and no disrespect to the guy that does the channel. I watched the first bit, and then I fast-forwarded to the bit where they announced the result, because he does do quite long shows. And was it 21-10 to Charlie?
Yes, Chris, it was. But as you can see, my head is up my arse. It's snowing in here, honestly. It's raining tissues, which sounds really bad because I shouldn't say that on Chris's channel because we all know how his mind works. But you know, it was one of them. I'm not going to make excuses. He was pretty.
It sounds like
fast.
You are. It sounds like
no. He was fast. He was fast off the mark.
How old are you, Dan? 30 now. And
12.
And how old is? No. 30 you are. Either that or your head's upside down for your age. How old is Charlie?
Put it one way, he's 4 points more than I got.
I tell you, mate. I mean, yes, I would have paid Rich to take that down. I've got to be honest with you, but no, fair enough.
I'm drawing up the invoice, mate. I've been drawing up the invoice all day.
You're going to be doing a quiz soon, aren't you? Explain your.
I will be doing, yeah.
Yes,
I will be doing. So obviously, you know, it seems that it's started to become a bit of the known thing now between content creators. Quizzes are coming out and about, and why not? Why not? It's nice. It gives a bit of a break. It's just to preview stuff, and it just goes to. It just sort of gives you a bit of a, you know, well, yeah. I know you're on about Charlie there, Anthony. Trust me. But yeah, no, it was just. Hopefully, we'll do all right. We've got a couple of rounds lined up, which should be interesting. And yeah, you just be there or be square. I will be announcing it in the next week or so. So let's see.
Yeah, we have got VAR in operation tomorrow, Terry. That is very good. We have indeed.
Is that the only question you're going to ask him? Is that the only question you're going to ask? Question 1: is VAR wrong or right? Yeah. Question 2: what do you think of VAR?
Well, Dan, I've got to say, because you are a true fan, so I just thought that we would maybe just sort of, you know, see how good you really are with your knowledge. We have seen you obviously now with here, but can you name the Burnley team, and I want all the 11 starting players, when you beat us in the third round FA Cup playoff on the 9th of May 1974? Now, come on, it's an easy one, that. It's a homer, that one. Come on, that's easy.
Is there?
I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. You know, that was.
To be fair, at first I thought, oh, Burnley Leicester. I thought that'll be good. I should know this. 19th. Is he taking the? So what?
Yeah. I did check before we came. How sad I am. I did actually check before we came on, and it was the last ever third place playoff in the FA Cup final.
Wow!
And you beat us 1-0 on the 9th of May 1974. What you'd?
I'm going to go for a wild stab in the dark at one player out that team. I'm going to say someone like 70s. Wow.
I haven't got the team up, so you could say anybody, and I wouldn't know. But that was kind of, I believe, the standard of questions that were coming up yesterday. But
all I say is spot on. Spot on.
Hey, watch our show tomorrow, 7:00. Craig, the quizmaster, is back, as is the Brighton guy who's joining us tomorrow.
I watched a program on Craig growing up called The Demon Headmaster.
Hi, Scott. How you doing? How the devil are you,
How you doing, Scott?
Terry says my wife's mate's got VAR in a bedroom to tell her will be if he's on side. I thought you were going to say whether he was in or not. No, you were an inch out there, mate. What do you mean? That's all you've got? Right. Okay. Terry, you've been the worst out in me, Terry. Can you imagine VAR in the bedroom? You know, the fact that you got two people either side of the bed with flags.
And you'd be allowed. She said she's got classes of concussion, so you'd be able to substitute.
To be honest with you, Dan, didn't hear a word of that. You were breaking up. You sounded like a robot.
I said it won't surprise me, to be honest. I said when they say that you've got a headache, you're allowed to make a substitution because of concussion. So that's always a plus.
Well, I had heard that Kate actually, she uses flags as well in your bedroom. It's basically to guide you in, like in an airport. You went that way. David, good evening, sir. You broke up again then. Sorry, Dan. Great show and content. You work well together. Unfortunately, we do appear to. David, are you in the group now? I got your email. I did reply. You should be in the group now. Right. Going on to the next topic. International breaks. We had one in September. Why the hell are we still having international break? We had the Nations League, which I thought was meant to get rid of the friendlies, but no, apparently we still have friendlies. The thing I like about the Nations League is that we are playing teams of our own standard
to win something.
You know, but we're qualifying for competitions. We're in groups that if we don't get out of, it's like putting Man United in League Two sometimes with some of the teams that are in there. If you don't get promoted, you want shooting. You know, I mean, the excitement. Do you remember? I think it was when Glenn Hoddle was England manager. We went to Italy and we got a draw and we qualified. And it was the excitement. Oh, God, we've got Italy in our group. We might go out. You know, there's none of that now. Oh, we've got Andorra. That'll be exciting. And, follow that up with San Marino and maybe, you know, Albania. I mean, it's a piss. And I know I'm going to sound like I'm advocating the ESL here, but why not just, if they're going to do this, why not put those teams straight in and then have the other teams play off against each other to qualify? Because at the moment, it's almost like FIFA and UEFA are doing it in ESL because the likes of Albania, the likes of Peru, and the likes of Australia will not now, like they used to. Peru, I can remember in the World Cup. Australia, I can. But they're never going to get in now because of the way it's set up. So almost like they are doing an ESL themselves.
Yeah, it's silly, really. You've got a one for, you know, a year around Christmas.
You are breaking up, Dan. I don't know what's...
I don't know why I'm doing that.
You're frozen and... We're
frozen.
Getting... Let it go. Let it go. Talking, actually, before you come out, just talking of Frozen.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Mrs. Riley was never frozen with me. What can I say? No, you are definitely, you are freezing and doing the robot, and you're very breaking up when you're talking.
Right, I don't understand why it's doing that.
I know it was going well. Well, it's getting late in Burnley, and everybody's turning the electricity off. But
honestly, I don't understand why it's doing that. I really don't.
But players have just come back in September, and we're having an international break. It's too early, isn't it?
So,
you sound like Metal Mickey.
Doing it.
You sound like Metal Mickey, just showing my age there. What's Kate doing to you at your end?
Nothing, unfortunately. I don't know why it's not working.
Kate must have cut Dan's allowance on the internet privilege. He uses it all on Pornhub. He doesn't have anything left for these shows. This is why he's not been doing shows recently. But yeah,
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, it is better now.
Right, I've took the speakers out. Let's try that way.
Right. So, do you think an international break, but basically 4 or 5 weeks after we've kicked off a new season, is too soon?
I think
it's every time you speak. What do you guys think of in the chat? Do you think it's too soon to have an international break?
it's clear to see my internet wants an international break.
You want to pay your bloody bills, mate. That's what it is. Has that guy gone on strike that comes around and turns your lights off every night in the street? He's not working. I think, Dan, you're going to have to maybe log out and log back in again because we get like 3 or 4 words and then you just freeze again. Log out and log back in again and see if that helps. Don't know. He's not. I'm looking at him in the green room, and it's not a pretty sight for me because all I've got is a frozen picture of Dan's face. Yeah, It isn't. It isn't nice. It isn't nice. He's not moving at all. No, he's not moving at all. I don't know what he's doing. When you get back, give me a wave, Dan. Hello, Mrs. Riley. But I think international breaks are too soon, and the smaller clubs or smaller countries are saying, like, are you really not wanting to play us? Is it for us to play you? It's like brilliant, and the fact that we get you, and I get that. It is, it's like Leicester coming up into the Premier League and winning it, But I can remember, like I say, when Peru got through to the World Cups, Australia did, all these African nations when they started to come through. And that's what you want to see. You don't want to see Germany or Brazil winning it and taking it in turns to win it. But Scott David says here, and it's an excellent point. I just wonder when they expect the players to recuperate. It's not stopping league play, tournaments, cups, now friendlies. Then we worry that the players get injured. Why are we surprised? Indeed, Scott says here, I think the international break could be a blessing for us. But is it? Because I tend to say, let's say we've got a squad of 25. I don't know the exact number for the Premier League, but let's say 25. I'd probably say 18 of those are off in some form on international duty. So they're not getting together with the rest of the Leicester squad to practice and to train. And the chances are they could get injured, could catch COVID. It's all absolutely ridiculous. And it is, yes, Scott, there are too many international breaks these days. I think to have one in September, we've just got back into it. People are, teams are getting together, they're getting to know each other, new teammates. We're all getting excited again, and then it's let's stop. Hayden, good evening, sir. How the devil are you? Thanks for joining us. We've got Dan back.
I think so.
Yes, I think you're back from outer space. Just turn around now without that look upon your face.
If that looks anything like earlier when I was staring at you, then
yes, that was scary, I tell you. But then again, it is Halloween month, isn't it?
It is. I'm trying to get the headphones to work, but
David says here, for us, yes, I think we needed this time off. But it isn't time off. Our players aren't. It's like when the big, so-called big rich, whatever you want to call them, six. They know we played too many games, and as soon as the season's over, they're flying off to the Far East or South America on tours to earn money. So they're not, they're not giving themselves a break either.
It's not just that though, Chris, as well. There's also all the stuff with COVID and, you can only travel to certain countries, all this red, amber, green stuff. It's, that's another
that was the case earlier. Yeah, we did actually say that while you were off twiddling your knobs. Where are we here? September. This was the FA on the website statement regarding September FIFA international break. Premier League clubs unanimously decide not to release players for international matches in red list countries next month. And then you got the farce of Brazil Argentina when officials went on the pitch to stop the match. I just think there's just too much football. And I know we used to say, when I was a lad, they used to play twice a week with a leather ball in the wet, and they come off at half time and have a fag. But there are more competitions these days, and if you want to become a Premier League team, chances are that your players are going to be international standard players, or a good 50% of them. And I just think there isn't a chance to have a break, to give the players a rest. I think what Scott said, he agrees there's too many international breaks, but like he said, it's probably come right for us now. But as I say, they're not going to get a rest because half of them are going to be away. And you're going to get them come back with injury, come back with COVID, like you say. But that was the international break. But when we always end up when we do these shows, we're going to have a look at some of the games from the last one. And I've just picked out two games that I think are well worth looking. I know you've not looked at any because you couldn't be asked because you're a lazy bastard.
It goes back to what you said earlier, Chris, when you said fever international break. That's what it is. It's the international break, and I'm full of a fever, mate.
I didn't know. I thought I got away with that. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Oh, if it wasn't for you and those pesky kids.
Oh, you're older than I thought you were. You remember all these things. Oh, Scooby Doo.
Let me at him.
Well, when you get to the end of the show, take your mask off and reveal who you really are underneath. It's Kate. I know. Here we go. Don't be daft, Chris. Dan didn't freeze. It was a cover while he had a quickie. Well, he has got all the tissues there, so quite possibly. And he did say that he doesn't like Kate to pull him off at half time. Is that right?
A magician never tells his secrets.
You make something. Oh, Kate can't hear me now, by the way.
Oh, she can. She sounded when.
Yes. I thought you looked excited on the last watch along. Hayden, I agree that there are too many international breaks, and September one, let's just get rid of it. Let's play less games, or even if you've got smaller groups of just say 4 or something like that. But let's make it more exciting as well. Let's get some of the big teams playing each other. It's great when teams go and get through, even as an England fan. Anyway, the games that I've picked out here. There's 2 that I want to look at. One at the start of the month. Both of them, towards the end of the month, And one of the ones was Brentford 3, Liverpool 3. I mean, Brentford are... I actually said out of all 3, I thought Brentford teams that came up, we pretty much knew that Norwich would go straight back down. We knew that Watford would sack the manager and probably join them. We thought it was going to be Brentford that actually do well, and I'm being proved right for once.
No, I agree. I think it's a bit silly. As I said to you, Chris, it's it's just one of those, mate, where
Kate, it's you, Kate. How the devil are you?
Plodding on, Christopher, plodding on.
Oh my God, Kate! I tell you what, you look better with the makeup on. She's gonna kill me, isn't she? She's gonna absolutely kill
Honestly, faces I'm getting over issues like that. I've never seen her eyes as wide, and I walk into bedroom naked.
Yeah, but she has to squint then. That's why you never see her eyes wide. But
you mean?
Mind you, as I always say, when you've only got a flute and you've got to play in the Albert Hall, it's a bit difficult, isn't it?
It's one of those though. As long as you can get a fine tune out of it.
No, you've got an echo though. That's the trouble. Anyway, Brentford 3, Liverpool 3. Brentford are doing really, and I'm so pleased for them because I love to see these clubs that come up, like Sheffield United. I'm so disappointed that they couldn't survive. I hope Leeds survive. It's great to see these other clubs coming up.
Definitely, I think Thomas Frank has done pretty well. He's. The thing is with Brentford as well, they're another team. Going back to what we said earlier. You throw me there, Scott. I mean, going back to what we said earlier about teams that have been flirting around in the playoffs, Brentford have been doing that in the past couple of years. Yeah. They've been using sports science. They've been looking at things in the background of football, not just thinking about, churning talent out on the field. They've been looking at everything and analysing a player, knowing that as soon as he walks through a door, they know his background, they know what he's about, his strengths, his weaknesses. I mean, I know every club does that sort of background checks, but sometimes it's always nice to get into sort of the science of it. I love that about that. Full well at the end of this season, people are going to talk about Brentford and say, oh, is it one of those second season syndrome? Is it going to catch up with them? All pundits are going to go on about it. But as we're talking in the now, that result, what a cracking performance. I mean, the first game of the season, I know it was August, but the first game of the season against Arsenal,
Yeah.
they made you realise, you know what, we're not here to piss about. We're not here just to make up the numbers. Sorry, Jamie O'Hara, but we're not. We're here to give it a go. And they have done. They've stepped into it perfect. And it's an hard place. It's an hard place to go to. So why not? To score 3 goals against Liverpool is a massive achievement anyway. To get a point, it can only spur them on. As I say, I hope to God it's not just one of them one-season wonders. Like as you say, Sheffield United suffered, but who knows? At the moment, ride the wave. As what Rick Rio said. But
mind you,
Thomas Frank is at the wheel.
If you were doing that, the game would be called off for being flooded, wouldn't it? Maisie, how you doing? But Maisie, I haven't got your laugh up here, but we love Maisie's laugh. Again, a great channel, Devils United. Not sure what they're doing the other day. It was a Man United channel looking at Brentford. That's scary, the fact that she came on just at that moment, isn't it? But yeah, so what we're going to do moving on is we're going to sort of, let's just have a look. There's some things. Terry, Everton and Brentford of this year's Leicester.
Yeah.
Brentford could be. I don't know about Everton because they've been up there long enough. Let's be honest with you. What Leicester achieved would not have been such good news if we just stayed up and then had 3 or 4 seasons mid-table and then won it. It was the fact that we won it straight after the escape. David says, Brentford are a breath of fresh air. I really love to watch how they spent so much time walking their stadium after the Arsenal win and how they hugged the fans. It was personal and touching. Yeah. I mean, I love them. No disrespect when I call them a small club, but it's great to see them up. This is what, despite Jamie O'Hara,
compared to London teams, they are, aren't they? Really, the small fish in a big pond when it comes to London-based teams.
Yes, yeah. People thought last season, says Maisie, Everton done amazing and went downhill. Don't want to overestimate them yet. And what's happening at Man United? Bye-bye, Ollie. Bye-bye, Ollie. Bye-bye. But, what I say we're going to be doing is picking like a match of the month, one each every month. But as I say, you haven't done any homework, so I picked them both this time.
You have.
The other one was Arsenal 3, Spurs 1 on the 26th, and I'd had all the summer taking the piss out of Arsenal, saying like, trust the process, and the process will get you there. And look at Emma Radonako or whatever she was called, she had a process and it worked. And yet Arsenal, they're now above us. And on that game, if they played like they played against Spurs in that first half, they should be 5th, 6th and battling for that. It was an amazing performance, Arsenal.
Yeah, they did really, really well. And I'll still say it. A lot of people go. The thing is, with Arsenal's fan base, they go from Fleming, they go from Arteta in, Arteta out. It's they need to make their mind up on what the situation is. And I mentioned certain. Well, I won't mention certain people, but there is certain people that are like that. When it's going right, it's going right. I get that, but you've got to look at the bigger picture. You say the same about Arsene Wenger in the long run. You said that he was, he overstayed his welcome. You keep saying Arteta out. He should have gone years ago. You can't change all on the back of one result. It's mad. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was an absolute fantastic result. It always will be. Getting a win over your rivals. It's brilliant. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming at all. Spurs over the past couple of years have been a dominant force in terms of when it comes to the rivalry, but it's the same again in rivalries. Form goes out of the window. It's one of those where who wants it more? Who sat in that dressing room listening to the fans smashing the back of the stands, flaming, soaking all that in, and then pouring it out on the pitch for 90 minutes?
Okay. I take your point there about the derbies. I wonder if the derbies mean as much as they used 2 years ago, because Arsenal will play Spurs, and the fans will be really up for it. Half the players that are playing for Arsenal and the other half for Spurs aren't English, aren't born in this country, so probably don't appreciate the rivalry that there is.
No.
So I don't think the players, when you say, "Oh yeah, it wasn't as good a game as it used to be," I think that's down to the fact of the players.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. It could be the Merseyside derby, couldn't it? You know, the friendliest derby in the world.
I thought that was Rangers versus Celtic.
It's the thing is, it's one of those where, rivalries aren't the same. If you play each other season in, season out, okay, yeah, brilliant. You get to face each other. It's about bragging rights. Don't get me wrong. I mean, who's Manchester's derby? Is it Manchester-Liverpool? Is that the biggest derby? Because I think Man United, Man City, since they've got money, it's become a bit of a rivalry. But beforehand, they didn't give a shit.
Mm.
You know, it's one of those. Like recently, I say Burnley's rivals recently are probably Arsenal because of the controversy that's happened in games, those 90th minute handball decisions, or and things like that. So it's things like that that make you riled up. So when it comes to Arsenal and you come to these teams and you've had something bad go against you, like
we struggle at the moment for a derby game because you were asking me earlier sort of who are our local rivals, and it's Forest, Derby, and Coventry, and we haven't played them in absolutely years, and we struggle to say that it's Aston Villa because they're the only other Midlands club in there. And to be honest with you, I feel more that our rivals are a bit like Tottenham after the when we won the Premier League. There's that sort of rivalry is built up. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to call you Daisy then. Oh my God! More gin vicar. Yes. God. There we go. Maisie says there. So I was thinking of Maisie and a keyring. She'll tell you about that one day. Players were hugging. I mean, yeah, you can't.
It's a bit like boxing, though, isn't it? It's a bit like boxing. You know, Tyson Fury's going all on about Deontay Wilder, you big shithouse, you big bum dosser, and then next breath, it's one of those where at end of thing that they'll touch gloves. I mean, between Fury and Deontay Wilder, I think it's going to be different because I don't think there is any love lost there. But you come up against an opponent in boxing, you shit talking beforehand. You know, you build it up just like Sky Sports do. Regular, they build all these big games up, don't they? It's Liverpool, Manchester United this week, and then it's an absolute bore fest.
Yes, yeah, it has definitely gone. Now, I gonna be honest with you. There's not often that I put self-control into my into my thoughts, my words. Maybe before I do this next button, this next comment, I should just put this up at the bottom. Maisie says, where are we? I can't believe I'm about to say this. Can call me Daisy if you like. I smell like daisies today. Is that instead of tuna?
Garlic bread. Honestly, this is Chris's humour, guys. Yeah, I think you all know. The longer you're here, that's it. He'll be gone now. He'll be in a fit of laughter. Look, there he is. There he is. The face of the company. He's back.
I can't believe I said that. Oh God.
We all can, Chris. Don't you worry about it.
Oh dear. I'm glad that Maisie knows me well, and Heather, my daughter, she said, I bet Devils United doesn't smell of daisies. She's a lady. Heather, she's a lady. Devils United, yet garlic bread. That was just a burning smell. Yeah, we won't go there. So those are the two games that we've looked at that basically, to me, stood out as being something special. What I've just got to say on the last game, Dan, is what the hell were Burnley but technically put 3 past us. Go to Norwich, you couldn't bloody score.
It was one of those games where literally you threw everything, the house, the missus, next door neighbour's house, kitchen sink.
Unfortunately, they threw the missus back, didn't they?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a fish again, that you get and then you throw them back.
That's it. Clearly, the neighbours weren't interested in an old trout, so they had to send it.
Behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Speaking of old trouts.
Exactly.
No, it was really one of those where literally we threw everything at them. The referee. Yeah, of course she's gonna say that. Of course she's gonna say that.
She's a child of utter taste.
Well, I mean, can't go wrong. She's clearly had a sense of humour over her laugh. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say on that matter, Chris.
What do you mean? Your kids were disowning you in the car the other night.
And they still do. Don't worry about it. Still do.
Oh, Devils. I think actually, Kate, stick yourself in, Kate. Stick yourself on camera. Go on, you've done it once.
She definitely won't. She's giving me a death stare.
Who is Kirsty? Is that Mrs. Riley? Is it?
Yeah, that's my mum's first name. Yeah.
Well, I never knew her first name because
you didn't get that far.
No, when we were together, she always insisted I call her Mrs. Riley. Which wasn't quite as romantic when you go, oh yes, Mrs. Riley, yes, Mrs. Riley. I can't believe I'm doing that, and my daughter's in the chat.
It's all right, Heather. I just sit here and lap it up and just think, you know what? He'll get bored eventually. I really hope he'll get bored eventually, but he never does. He's persistent. Don't get me wrong.
You've lasted a long time tonight, Dan, but that's only because we've not got a 14-year-old up against you. Terry says Norwich is close to the seaside. Burnley were actually on the beach. Sorry, Dan.
I can't argue. The thing where the performance were there, the attacking intent were there. It shows volumes when Tim Krul and Grant Hanley are named in a team of the week, because we were literally peppering them left, right, and centre. We just couldn't finish for love nor money. The ball wasn't, it just was one of those days. Yeah, you're at that age now, Chris, where if you pay money, you'll find love.
Tell you what, I'm firing blanks. I tell you, I haven't got any money left anyway.
Over.
Anyway,
I've got a mate who's got a catalogue. I'll send it over.
Kirsty took all my money. It's pretty expensive, I tell you. 50p a go she was. I tell you. Cheaper than a ride at Alton Towers.
And you didn't have to queue half as long.
I didn't feel sick when I got off.
Why do I join in? That's my worry. Why do I join in?
I don't know. I say, but don't tell her I was sick when I got off. Right. Oh. Are England, as he says, trying to get some decorum back. Are England actually playing this weekend?
Yeah,
I don't even
Saturday against Andorra.
Well, that's not exactly going to be worth staying in for, is it?
No, definitely not.
I've actually got 2 podcasts on Sunday, both from America. I should have done it for Saturday, then I could have got out of watching the game. But Daniel, it's been a pleasure for you, and now that you put your money in the meter, that horse, and
that's true. That is true.
Yes, and you're working again. Give your channel a shout out.
So yeah, we are under Turf Moorhouse. on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and also Spotify. Don't let me forget that, Chris. I know you won't. Obviously, we are going to be venturing out to further podcasts as well. It is sorted on Anchor. I completely forgot because Anchor's the way through. Chris told me about Anchor, and I think the only reason he told me about that is because it rhymes with something he's been called quite often, which is a tanker, would you believe?
It is. If you've seen my stomach, guys, you would know.
Fuel tank for a sex machine, Chris.
Yes. Can't believe it's not butter either, I'll tell you.
Just lard.
It's full of lard, I tell you. I wobble when I walk now, like Weebles used to.
No, but thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to doing
we'll
this
have you
every
back
month.
on now.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, we bounce. I'm going to rephrase that before I say we bounce off each other. Basically, you know, we have that. I don't know what to say. I can't say we have that chemistry because you'll say something. I can't say we bounce off each other because you'll say something. I'll see you in October, guys. That's it.
Not if we see you first. We'll see if YouTube will commission a series out of this. This was the pilot. Kate says, yeah, great watch. If I almost nodded off watching you. Until next time. Don't talk about Dan like that when you're in the same room. If anybody wants to see what Kate looks like, go on to Turf Moorhouse TV on YouTube. And they did a show recently about the third shirts. She's actually live on there. Well, I say live. She was next to Dan. Dan might have had his hand up a Jaxie controlling her. I don't know, but
just letting you know, Chris, she is real. I never made her up. All gingers can get other partners.
Don't give her a love bite. Whatever you do, she'll fart and fly out the window.
So, cheers for having me on. I'm lucky. Just trust me, Sarah. It's the other way around. It's the other way around. Sometimes I get the odd message going, have you got internet at your house? Yeah, I thought you were. She messages, have you got internet at your house? I'm like, no, I'm only on my 4G. You robbing bastard.
Well, hey, mate, no, thanks for coming on. It was almost a laugh, and we will be back. We'll be back. No
tissues were found in the making of this video.
Oh God, we're going to do that program, that Ian Wright type program, where we try and make it to.
We are. We need to get that. We need to get that sorted. That
yes.
Having a laugh.
Yeah, I have actually got to. I've got to go and do the hoovering now. You know, I've bought a new Hoover. Well, the old one wasn't working; it was just collecting dust.
Oh. I'm not having that one.
No, you're dying to laugh, aren't you? You're dying to laugh.
It's
David,
your face.
thanks a lot,
It's
mate.
your face, Chris. I can't help it. When you're in that predicament, and you're watching somebody, I can't help it.
At least I didn't freeze on you. I mean, I had to stare at that your frozen picture. You know, it was worse than looking at fish fingers for 5 minutes. Oh God, see you both. Cheers, Terry. Cheers, David. David, I hope you're in the group now. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody else who came in. Thanks for Kate for putting up with Dan and looking after him when he's ill with man flu. He's off now to suck a fisherman's friend if Kate's finished with him, and I'm sure he will be better for the next time. Thanks a lot, mate. All the best.
No, cheers for having me on, and I'll see you guys in October.
God, that sounds too soon, but I will see you then. Thanks a lot, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks to Dan for coming on there. We always go off track, me and probably as well. We actually do this show at 9 o'clock rather than 7. For obvious reasons, it's after the watershed. Right, don't forget. You can go on to Leicester Till I Die TV and you can watch the rather disappointing new shirt show. It's put the home and away kits together and we've come up with an overall table. Guess who's got the worst shirt? Home and away, voted together. Get over and have a look and find out. Next Friday, tomorrow Friday, we have got Brighton and the big fat football quiz. Yeah, hopefully he'll do better than Dan did against the 14-year-old. Oh, did I say that again? And if you want to catch up on the shows, don't forget, we are on Twitter at Leicester TID, Facebook Leicester Till I Die the group, YouTube Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give us a like and a sub on YouTube. It is much appreciated podcast. They'll be up in 10 minutes. Amazon, Apple iTunes, Google, Apple Anchor, Spotify and Podcast Addict. And if you've got a smart speaker, just ask yours to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die and you will get all our podcasts. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for coming on and watching and joining in. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow night with Craig for the quiz at 7. Good night.
That's all, folks.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all them social media platforms for the latest updates and news on Leicester City.
I'll be back.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.